Oh. All right. Well, it's April 1st. April Fools. This is my last show. Okay, April Fools. Just kidding. But yeah, April Fools. Any good April Fools? You guys see anything? Anybody catch any?
Kenny.
All right.
All right, let me go ahead and put this.
All right.
Yeah, for anybody that wants to participate, please feel free to come up on stage.
Or if you
want,
can
give you 2 cents in the bottom right-hand corner. Let me switch over to my other account.
All right. Can you guys still hear me all right? Any thumbs up? Any reaction? Going once. Going twice. Okay. Well, hopefully you guys can still hear it. All right. Going live now. Click this. Start stream. Refresh. So I'm live on YouTube. If you want to search Token Talk, feel free to see that. Hopefully you guys can still on Abstract as well. Going live now. Actually, I probably should put that link. Raylene says, "How do we watch?" Okay, yeah. Let me grab that link, and I'll plug it in right here. My comments. Actually, I probably should put that link. All right. Should be there. So that's on Abstract. VDiz will have a perfect Tuesday. No, because nothing is funny or a joke. Okay. It's coming from straight from Raylene. Should be there. All right. Well, so that's on Abstract. See some other comedy going tonight. Okay. Thanks again for being here. Let me go ahead and get started with our agenda, the Web3 happenings. And there is a lot happening, I feel like. I guess I'll just take it chronologically. Okay. Let me scroll down to the bottom. Thanks again for being here. Let me go ahead and get started with our agenda, the Web3 happenings. Put it up right now. And there is a lot happening, I feel like. I guess I'll just take it chronologically. We'll start off. We can take this as a good or a bad. I don't know how you want to look at it. But this was from 6 days ago. Watch Your Guru. $6 trillion asset manager Fidelity to launch crypto stablecoin. We can take this as a good or a bad. I don't know how you want to look at it. We're going mainstream. But I mean, I feel like there's always been mainstream elements, but now it's just broadening the audience. So as soon as we get stable coins, as I've been talking about for weeks, I think that people are going to start realizing, well, maybe I should see what this crypto is about. Maybe I should do a little read. And I could totally see some stuff coming out from like the Googles, the Facebooks, the Apple, where it's like a little like chart, like a fact, or a little like benefits of USDC, transfer quicker, no need to deal with the bank. Like I could see him coming out with a little like guide. So I won't be surprised. Also from the 25th, which was last Tuesday night, which was after my show, kind of, I think it was. I could see him coming out with a little like World Liberty Group. I won't be surprised. MUSD1, the stablecoin your portfolio has been waiting for, built for institutions and retail alike, backed by the dollar, custodied by BitGo. No games, no gimmicks, just real stability. So I think we all know the group that is kind of leading the charge from that side of the house. But point being, stablecoins are coming, and it's going to be integrated in the platforms that you've come to know over the years. The Facebooks, the Google, the Apple, like it's just going to be ingrained in it. All the social medias are going to have it built in my opinion, in some form factor. Is it going to take them a little bit to try and figure out how to implement it? Probably. But really, they're just waiting for the guidance and for the structure. And I just think this is something to really pay attention to. So yeah, stablecoins. All right, let me go ahead and plug this in to other groups. See if I can get in here. They probably all thought, oh, he's not going up today. This is another thing in the positive direction, in my opinion. Pin this up. Coming out of the Immutable camp. Immutable is the leading platform for building games on Ethereum. So for those that were in the VFriends early, that remember book games, we were familiar with Immutable. Immutable is the leading platform. So let me go ahead and pin this up. Did I pin it up? Yes, I did. So for those that were in the VFriends early, last year the SEC issued Immutable a Wells notice, basically saying, hey, we're going to investigate what the freak you've been up to because you're doing all this crypto stuff. And we're going to try make rules by enforcement, even though there's no set guidance and precedent coming from the United States currently. Although that tide has been changing and turning over the past few months. So guidance is probably going to be here in the next 60 days, I think. I believe I bookmarked a recent video clip I saw from Charles, who's the founder of Cardano. I just saw that video clip yesterday. And he said that there's two pieces of legislation coming out. One's on marketplaces, and one is on the stable coin bill. And so once that hits, I feel like we're going to start to see things changing in a different way. And so, yeah, so that inquiry is now officially closed with 0 findings of wrongdoing, and the SEC is taking no action. This is a huge win, not just for Web3 game, but everyone who believes in digital ownership rights. Let's build. So round of applause for them. Yeah. No action. This is a huge win, not just for Web3 game, but everyone who believes in digital ownership rights. Let's build. So round of applause for them. I mean, any of this is good, in my opinion. And I've been seeing it for a couple of weeks now, along with Bobby-san. You know, they need to clean the slate. Everything needs to be kind of like flattened out and kind of like you can't have any lingering situations. Otherwise, they may start to contradict what's actually being built with guidance and process and protocol and policy. All right. Let's see what else here. What else we got? Forgotten Runes have been all over the timeline. Pin this up. This is coming out of the Somnia camp. So Paul Thomas, who's the founder of Somnia Network, said, I'm going to get in trouble for sharing this, but it's about time we let people mine actual blocks on the blockchain. Stay tuned for some big stuff this week. So let me see if I saved the other tweet. Don't know if I did. But basically, it's like a version of Minecraft that's going to be on the Somnia network. They talked about it and referenced it in a spaces that I listened to 2-3 weeks ago. And now they're starting to share the visuals that go along with that. So what does that mean? Why is that important? Why do we care? Well, in Minecraft, which is a super popular metaverse game, you build worlds, you participate in games, you buy things within that using their in-game, in-house type of currency. And the house or the product, the brand, the company is always taking a portion of that. Whereas if you actually had full control over it and you have self-custody, you're going to be retaining ownership and gaining a lot more of those benefits, of the financial benefits that come along with it. So that's the bigger difference, is that you have more control and it's going to be more self-custody, is my understanding. And so I think Somnia is really pushing the issue on that. Let me go ahead and share this other tweet. This isn't the one I was thinking of, but this is related in the realm. So again, this is from Paul Thomas, who's the founder of Somnia. It says, this is so cool. The cost of content is going to zero. Mass user-generated content, UGC, is coming. This will change the game regarding the number of people who can build experiences, what rails they will use to monetize. I believe blockchain, open, permissible, composable, near instant transfers. And so, again, and the theme for tonight is Metaverse Talk once I get done with the Web3 happenings. But this is just to further reiterate that point. if people have the tools and they can build their ideas very fast or very easy with little to no friction, I mean, you're going to be off to the races. Like people such as myself or other individuals that don't have coding skills, but they have ideas and creativity, and you just do a prompt and it can spit out what you want in the rendered version of like a metaverse or like a character. I mean, it's gonna change the game. And I think we've seen all this past week a lot of the AI that generated art that's come out from the Ghibli prompts that we've seen a lot of people post up about. And so it's my understanding, and please somebody correct me if I'm wrong, that there was another version of OpenAI that was updated, which allowed you to start doing that. Hence, all last week we started to see a lot of those being posted up. And I had some good friends here in the 10KTF community that actually made mine for me, because I said I never actually went through the process yet. But that's just, I feel like, a small little like taste of like what's to come. I mean, and I've seen both sides of the house on the discussion where people are like, oh, this is terrible, now it's bad for the artist, there's no royalties, there's nothing going back to the creator and the artist of that style, which is true. And then that's where I saw the case of like various individuals from the Story Protocol, which we talked about on here, and they reference, if there was IP that was tied to the Story Protocol blockchain, then this would be an example of all the royalties that would be collected in order to utilize all that data to create those images. But because that's not in place yet, we really don't have that full kind of like system kind of like built out, the infrastructure, if you will. And so I think it's only going to be a matter of time before we see more and more of that kind of stuff happening. And it's not till somebody throws a real fit and decides to bring up a case, and then people will start to get more serious about it. And that's exactly what the dev said from the Story Protocol. And I asked him in East Denver, and I really would like to get him as a guest. Real nice guy, nice kid, younger guy, very smart. I think his name was Mark. I have it bookmarked, but he said, and I asked him, I was like, well, how's that proportion supposed to look, and how's it supposed to play out? He's like, well, honestly, we need to see how some of those things will work, because it's never really fully happened yet. Now, mind you, there has been different smaller cases, relatively speaking. Bored Ape Yacht Club, Yuga Labs has been brought to a case from another group. Ryder Rips, I think his name was. They tried to like sue back and forth, all this stuff, basically like trying to prove the point of IP rights and whatnot. But I think this is going to be a different level once we start to see a lot more AI generated content, once it's more easily accessible and people are actually out there making and creating. Then some people are going to start getting real upset real quick, I think. So, yeah, could be good, could be not good. And I guess we'll see. Thanks again, everybody, for stopping in. 10KTF Teaching Tuesday. Appreciate you guys coming in and giving some time. We will have a POAP in a little bit. But for now, we're just going to keep it moving along. Do have some more Web3 happenings here. Let's see. So much Forgotten Rune stuff. This is from 1 day ago. Let me pin this up here. Oh, sorry for the visuals. I haven't been changing them. My bad. For the video stream, if any of you guys want to check it out. Also coming out of the Watcher Guru account, BlackRock CEO Larry Fink says the U.S. dollar is at risk of losing its reserve status to Bitcoin. Yep. I mean, it's just ironic, right? Like, these are the same dudes that were saying for years, like, oh, crypto's a scam, Bitcoin's a scam, this is not worth anything, blah, blah, blah. Gary Gonsler used to say it's rife. The space is rife with fraudsters, which there's every avenue has people that rip people off. It doesn't matter what industry. But yeah, in this case, in this example, I mean, it's just interesting that they're saying that the dollar is at risk of losing its reserve status to Bitcoin when these are the same individuals preaching otherwise. So definitely interesting, something to keep watch on. Curious what you guys think. If you want to give your 2 cents in the bottom right hand corner. If not, it's all right. Pin this up also. Coming out of the MetaMask camp. Big news, MetaMask card is now available in Argentina. Stop relying on banks. Start controlling your money. Right? You know, we've talked about this already for a little bit too, the MetaMask card. I have the digital version. VDizzle has a digital version. A number of other individuals that we've known has it. We know some individuals that have the physical card. I've already shared on here various weeks about the rewards that come along with this, USDC, as well as other meme points, which can be converted into Linea, which can then be switched into USDC as well. And so I think we're definitely on the cusp of some new norms that are going to start happening. Let's see. And speaking of that, the new norms, this was that video clip that I was talking about a second ago, coming out of the Cardano camp. And I don't know this profile. I'm not following them, but they just came up on my feed. And in fact, you know what? Let me freaking send this over to Ricardo. He's on spring break right now. Excuse me. What's his handle? Do you know his? I don't know his handle off the top of my head. Rod, let's see. There he is. So this is our Cardano people. Yeah, so I just pinned that up, but that's basically what I was referencing. Let me put that on the visual for all the video people that are here on Abstract and YouTube. So Cardano founder Charles Hoskinson says, once the stablecoin and market structure bill is passed, that opens the floodgates for Apple, Facebook, Google, and Microsoft will put crypto wallets in their platform. When you add their users, it's up to 3 billion with a B. So again, I do think that we're going to see these things take place and change in real time. People are going to try and FUD it, but people are going to try and embrace it. It's going to be all around because that hasn't been the forte. Facebook may have tried to make it their forte when they invested, I think, $9 billion into their metaverse. I don't know. I don't know all the details of how they're doing now, but I don't think they were doing so hot before. But I think it would have been smart to do kind of like what we're seeing here, right? It's like, hey, let's just gradually move into it versus going 0 to 100 real quick. We need to go to 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And I think gradually implementing these little things, and this is my professional opinion as a teacher now, 13 years, having just a little element of USDC crypto embedded in Facebook, in Google, in Apple, in other platforms. That's going to be a very softer touch point versus something that's going to be a little crazier. Like, oh, let's have Ethereum in our wallets and let's have Bitcoin built in, or let's have you swap, some of your cryptocurrency. People aren't ready for that. But if digital version of the dollar being able to buy and purchase stuff, I mean, we've already seen some platforms accepting some of those things. Stripe, the other one, I forget what it's called off the top of my head. So these are the avenues we're going to see start to take place where it's utilized. And again, don't take my word for it. Listen to Charles, one of the founders the founder of Cardano, who's one of the oldest blockchains. He's helping with the guidance for crypto at the level in DC. And so he knows his stuff. All right. This is a nice little fun thing. I thought it was fun. I didn't get to participate because I realized it after, but I like to see stuff like this. Coming out of the MeBits camp. Show us your best AI-generated MeBit art and win 100 ape. That's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
Like, said, drop your creation in the replies by 9 p.m. Eastern tonight. The MeBit company team will choose a winner based on creativity, composition, and how you used AI to create your unique style. We'll go first. Mind you, this was from yesterday, so it's already over. So don't get too excited. But just trying to give you the idea of like, hey, let's embrace this AI generated thing. Let's try and engage our community. Let's give away some ape. This is a win-win in my book. I wish I would have saw this earlier. I would have fucking done this. So missed out on the MeBits giveaway. And only 29 people submitted. Damn. Those were good chances, see? All right, let's see. This came out yesterday, 1 day ago. Circle, the issuer of USDC, we're just talking about this, has hired JP Morgan and Citi for its long-awaited IPO with a public filing expected by late April. Wonder if this is really going to happen. Let me also further give you another article I saw today. But Keegan, it's April Fool. It's April 1st. I understand that. But that first tweet that I had pinned was from yesterday. And then I saw the second one today to reiterate it. It says confirmed. I don't know this guy or this person, but Jeremy Allaire announces Circle is going public with an IPO on the New York Stock Exchange under CRCL, a game changer for the USDC issuer that reported $1.7 billion in reserve income. That's with a B. So, again, we're probably going to see more of this, in my opinion, over these next 6 months, which will probably change the landscape in a big way, at least in the U.S. I don't know about everywhere else in the globe about how it's already structured and set up. Shout out to Eric F. I see in the audience. We talked about the platforms that you already have, that you talked about, that you have over there in Asia, and how you can transfer stuff within the applications already. So U.S. has been in catch up for way too long now, which is ridiculous. And so, I think we should just position ourselves well. And having awareness, in my opinion, is super duper important. Whether or not you're like actually participating right now, I think having awareness so you're not like caught off guard or think this is a scam, just trying to rip me off. Like, if you're not educated and you're not actually practicing, getting the repetition, you're just ignorant to the situation. I'm sorry. You're just reading headlines and you're just taking things at face value without going through the process and doing a little digging and due diligence, which I think more people need to do in general. And so, especially for crypto, I think it's super important. But I feel like with this, in this case, with USDC, it's going to be, the learning curve is going to be not as high. And I think once you start to see the messaging and the optics from these bigger companies put the word out, it's going to be like, oh, okay, well, Facebook is using that. Oh, well, Vons is accepting that now. Or Costco is accepting that now. Like, when that shit starts to happen, it's like, oh, crypto's real. It's not just fake. It's not just scamming. It's not just meme coins. Rugging. Whatever you want to call it. Sheesh. All right, let's continue. Or Costco is accepting. Did you guys see about the Doodles Project 02, the other founders? I didn't bookmark it. I just heard about it. 4 days ago, though. Let me pin this up. So the Hawk Tour girl, Haley, Haley Welsh says the SEC closed its investigation into her crypto meme coin that crashed 95% hours after launch. She says they will not pursue any charges or monetary sanctions. I think some people got burned pretty bad from that one. I did not participate. I actually don't participate too much on the meme coin train. I mean, I guess that's mainly because I don't have time. I probably would dabble a little bit more, but I can't say I fully endorse it unless you're just in like a gambling mood. I actually don't. Not financial advice, just my opinion about what I do. Participate too much. So yeah. On the meme coin train. I mean, let's see what else. I guess this was an interesting thing I saw today. This is from 13 hours ago, and I felt like, okay, well, I thought this is just exactly what the MetaMask card is, but I think there's like something bigger kind of brewing. Let me pin this up. Financial advice, just my opinion about what I do. So this is coming out of the MasterCard camp. MasterCard is creating a way for consumers, merchants, and financial institutions to transact digital assets. Well, we already said that the MetaMask card is by MasterCard. Not to get those confused. MetaMask, MasterCard. MetaMask, MasterCard. So apparently MasterCard is going to be doing something a little bit bigger in order to make it more broadly accepted, again, for these digital assets, for consumers and merchants. Like, this is going to happen, whether we like it or not. I think it's good because it's what we need if you're an advocate of Web3 NFTs and digital assets. If you're a hater, then you're going to be having haterade dropped all on you, in my opinion, pretty soon. This is going to happen, whether we like it or not. And it's interesting, right? It's like, I think it's good. At least in my opinion, the sentiment of the Web3 space, at least on the timeline of X, aka Twitter, is not like everybody's not riding high. They're not at the all-time highs of Bitcoin. Their NFT projects are not at all-time highs. People are complaining about this is hardest it's been in the trenches, and people just rug the coins and they go down, blah blah blah, and it's dead. Like, it's interesting, right? It's like that's what the sentiment is, but yet these in real life things are happening. MasterCard is a known credit card company for decades now. It's dead. Like, so Bitcoin is going to have a strategic reserve. Is it going to be overnight? I don't think so. But the fact that it's being talked about, that there's rules and regulations being built, that they're closing these SEC cases, that major corporations that have billions of users and money are going to implement USDC or stablecoins. Fidelity, I just shared earlier in one of the tweets, is the $6 trillion asset manager is going to have their own stablecoin. It's going to happen. I think it's going to happen pretty freaking quick. So just trying to share for awareness. What do you guys think, though? Shiggins, what do you think? I know you got an opinion. See in the bottom right-hand corner. Oni Samurai. I like Sailor's views. Bitcoin will be capital and global collateral, not a currency, so it won't threaten the U.S. dollar as a currency, but support it. Agreed. I think it's going to happen pretty freaking quick. I agreed. Me and V Dizzle were at the Bitcoin conference in Nashville last year, and I think we saw the sentiment that this is a really good thing. It's not like, oh no, it's going to destabilize the gold. Oh no, it's going to take over the dollar. It's more like, hey, this is to help support and strengthen our freaking financial situation in the U.S., which we're not going to go into a whole conversation about where the debt is, because I know that'll go a whole different direction, trying to keep it crypto here. So, again, just things to be aware of. Raylene says they use Bitcoin down here at some places. Ooh. In what way? At the bars? Or at restaurants? Or at where? Crypto here. Interesting. Okay.
So, again, just things to
All right.
be aware of.
Well, let's continue. I think I got a few more Web3 happenings here.
Some places. Ooh.
Okay, this is from 4 days ago. Coming out of the abstract camp. Shout out to the abstract camp. We got 2 people watching on there.
Or at restaurants or at,
I don't know how many people are watching on YouTube. But 3 people now. Thanks to 3 of you. A new verified checkmark added for official team members' streams, which means an official abstract streaming account has been created. Need to test it today, maybe at 3:30 p.m. So that's coming from Finn, who's the head of marketing for Abstract. Real nice guy. We met him in East Denver. Would like to get him as a guest on here to talk shop. He just did a 24-hour stream. He started a 24-hour stream yesterday. It actually might still be going on. Let's see. No, I think it ended. But yeah, they were doing a 24-hour stream. So again,
24-hour stream yesterday.
Excuse me.
It actually might still be going.
Live streaming on Abstract, I think it's a great idea. The fact that there's crypto rails built in where you can tip the creators that are actually giving time and live streaming and sharing. You can tip them in USDC, in Pengu. And I think they added some other token. I don't remember off the top of my head. I can't click tip myself to see, but the point is they have that integration built in. And I think that's great. And I feel like sometimes they're, at least on my feed, I do see some people hating on Abstract. And I mean, I guess I'm not in it 24 hours a day on the timelines all the time because I'm working full time still.
I don't remember off the top of my head.
But I don't know how we can hate on companies or brands or platforms that are creating tools and resources for people to utilize.
I'm not in it 24
I think it's good.
on the timelines all
The MetaMask wallet, live streaming built in to their platform for an Abstract.
But
I don't know. I don't know if there's just like some FUD that people like to throw around or what. And there was, I was surprised that some other people of who was tweeting that too. I'm not going to name names, but I don't know. I'll let you do your own homework on that. So I embrace all the chains. I don't discriminate. I embrace all of them. Bitcoin, Abstract, ApeChain, Ordinals, Polygon. Not that there's always a lot going on certain ones, but I mean, hey, people are building, right? I don't know. And I think every chain is just going to have its time, right? And I think sometimes
Bitcoin, Abstract,
maybe because people have big bags in certain chains or products or brands that they feel like they need to defend it. But it's like, I don't know. Like, I think about this from time to time. It's like, I didn't create it. You didn't create it. We have skin in the game. I get it. We're support. Like, but we didn't invent that certain NFT project. We didn't invent that blockchain. We didn't build out this abstract platform.
I don't know.
Like, I didn't deploy an Ordinals project. So you can only hate so much, right? And I think it's more or less good to kind of advocate and support where you see legit people trying to do good things to move things in the right direction.
We didn't build out this abstract platform.
And I've had to learn that over the few years in my role now at the district office. Is like, well, I want certain things to be from here to here real quick. But as I've learned, because there's so many phases and policies and people and different things to go through, like, even though I may have the idea and creativity, I can't move it along as fast as I would like, which ends up causing frustration. So that's where I've had to like be a little bit more grounded and be like, well, was that something that was positive in the right direction? Whether that was 1 step or 5 steps or 10 steps, even if it's 1 or 2, if I can't deny that, okay, great. So that's how I've started to look at things a lot more over the past like 2 years. And so I look at these platforms and NFT projects in the same way. And when it comes to NFT projects, I do think back to what Gary Vee said back in 2021, how he said 99% of these projects are going to go to zero. I mean, what can I say? I mean, we've been here. Some of us have been here a few years now. We're seeing some of that play out.
Do you think back to what Gary
Not everybody can hang.
said back in 2021?
Not everybody has a strong ground game. They can't come in day out.
Well, he said
And I've thought about that for a while. Like, and that can be put into any category, whether that's work, that's a business, that's your own brand, that's your project, NFT whatever it is. Like, hey, even a college semester, right? It's like, hey, you could come in all like great, ready to go in the fall. And you're like, yeah, I have an A for the first couple of weeks. Yeah, I have an A the first 6 weeks, the 9 weeks. All of a sudden, things catch up. Real life happens. You're dealing with family. You have friends. You need to have balance. Like, grade goes down to a B, goes down to a C. It's like, it's one thing to have an A and be there for a little bit, but it's another thing to be consistent for an extended period of time. And in my opinion, that comes with learnings, that comes with teachings, that comes with repetitions, that comes in time. And we're all going to have those speed bumps that we hit. That's just the reality. We're not machines. We're not AIs. And sometimes we hit those little speed bumps. And it's how you navigate it. Are you pivoting left? Or are you pivoting right? Or are you going to sit there and cry about it? Maybe you do need to cry about it. So these are the things that I kind of like think about when it comes to quality control, when it comes to like longevity. And Gary called it. Again, he called it. You can go look at the clips. Some people hate on Gary Vee, but you cannot deny he said that very early on him. There's plenty of projects that have gone under and platforms that have gone under. Speaking of platforms that went under, also too, just to kind of bring it back.
So
before I go on another tangent, this is 10KTF Teaching Tuesdays, where Keegan goes on small rants, but also tries to help educate in the process. Let me pull this up. Let me pin this up above. So this is the platform. This is another example. Went under. CEO of X2Y2. Go ahead and read this here. Let me put the visual up for our visual learners on Abstract right now. Yes, we'll get to our POAP. We have a POAP tonight. We will be sharing it for those that are here. If you want a gold star, if you're into that sort of thing.
CEO of X2Y2.
Or maybe I'll have like silver and bronze stars too at one point, depending on like what day you came or what time. I'm one to talk though. Like I started late anyway. So anyway. All right. So let me read this right here. After an incredible 3-year journey, I have some important news to share. X2Y2 was a marketplace for trading. I use it in one instance, and I'll share it in a second. X2Y2 will be sunsetting as an NFT marketplace on April 30th, 2025. 29 days from now. The contracts will remain live, but the platform itself will shut down. What a ride it's been. We peaked as the second largest NFT marketplace behind OpenSea, reached 5.6 billion in trading volume. Respect. You gotta respect that, right? 5.6 billion in trading volume. I don't know who's managing their money. Different story. And even today stand as the third largest in the space. I'm immensely grateful to our amazing community who made this possible. Why now? NFT trading volume has shrunk 90% from its peak. Marketplaces live or die by network effects. And after 3 years of fighting to be number one, it's time to move on and build something with more lasting value. But this isn't goodbye, it's a pivot. For the past year, we've been deep in the AI space. Shocker. Exploring how it intersects with crypto in powerful new ways. We're building something new, yields in a permissionless way, powered by AI. It's decentralized, innovative, and designed to create value cycle after cycle, not just riding trends. The X2Y2 token was tied to our NFT vision, and I won't sugarcoat it. This change will likely impact the price. Another shocker. But I believe our next chapter will create something much more valuable long-term. I'm incredibly excited about what's coming next. Follow me here for the updates as we shape this new vision together. Thank you for being part of this journey. The best is yet to come. All right. You know what? We'll give a round of applause. coming out and saying it, doing a tweet, letting people know, versus just soft rugging and doing nothing, and just stop tweeting, and then all of a sudden the platform stops working. Like, that would be effed up. So, it's hard work.
You know what?
It's hard work to be consistent. It's hard work to make a good product. It's hard to have quality.
The platform stops working. Like, that would be effed up.
So, I mean, I feel for a lot of the projects and brands and companies, but I don't know. Like, I kind of wonder, like,
it's hard work.
Do they come in just wanting to make money? Or do they come in wanting to make change? Do they want to come in to be creative and innovate? We could ask that about Kevin Rose from Moonboards. I'm sure people have opinions on that. I don't know. I was never a holder, so I can't say. But I know we have a lot of friends that are or were.
I kind of wonder.
So definitely something to be mindful of is how you navigate the space. How do you carry yourself? How consistent can you be? Do you have the right team around you? Do you trust the people around you? And do you have experience? Legitimate experience that can help carry something in the right direction. I mean, I'm not a business owner.
Definitely something.
V Dizzle's a business owner. And we have some artists in the audience. See some people sneaking in. Attabody's here. Yulitra, Kaylee, Moongrew. I haven't seen you for a quick minute. Shiggins. Who else is here? Remus, Romulus, Isla.
I mean,
Shiggins. Eric F. Are you still on the clock or what? What's going on? Sheesh. Creatrice, round of applause for you. How you doing, friend? We're getting old in this Web3 NFT space. How you feeling about it?
GM, amigo. Getting old in the space. I don't know. I still feel fresh.
Yeah.
I'm only about I started in 2017, so I'm about 8 years old. I'm still a spring chicken.
Okay.
I'm a child.
Do you think it depends on the avenue of the person? Avenue. I said avenue is what I meant. Like, you're very much on the art side, the artistic side, the creative side. Do you feel like your energy is much more manageable versus someone who's like the platform manager of Polkadot, or someone who created an NFT project and raised money with it, and now you have all these stakeholders breathing down your neck?
Yeah, I think if we're talking about how fast we're aging, based on what role we have in Web3, yes, yes. Yeah, I think if you are a artist that decided to do a 10K collection, you might be aging a little bit faster, and not as gracefully as someone who decided to just do small collections or one-on-ones or things like that, which is kind of what I've done. I haven't really done any collection with more than 11 artworks in it. So I feel like, I've gotten my share of burnout, and I do feel, that the dog years kind of adding up, but not so much as I would have if I had, like I said, if I had dropped a 10K project, or if I had gone like full trenches mode, or like full, just like meme coin trading. I never got fully into that. I only ever really kind of dipped my toes in it. And yeah, so for me, I feel okay. I do feel like a super senior a little bit, but not bad. Meme coin trading. I never got fully into that.
I do like how the words you used. Aged gracefully.
Dipped my toes in
it's a good way to put it, right?
And
I feel kind of the same. Like, and I know I've talked about this topic at least a couple times, but by not being in the space all day or full time, I feel like it's allowed me to have a little more balance. where I have to worry about my work, so therefore I can't be degening 24/7, i.e., trading meme coins, going in and out of positions, watching the freaking candles go up and down. And I was never about that when I came into this space. Although I do think that there were plenty of people that do or did. And I think they're the ones that aged a little bit more rapidly, right? And probably experienced burnout in more than one occasion. But for me, I'm like, okay, I will say there's not as much excitement on certain fronts, in my opinion. Like, I wish 10KTF still had their weekly story because I thought it was creative and unique, and it brought a lot of people together, and people participated. They had badges way early on before a lot of places. They had a lot of people engaging and participating in a storyline. They were consistent as fuck, and it was quality, and a character and substance. It was fun. It was unique. Do I feel like I see as much of that? Not really. And so I guess that's my kind of like more frustration. But I do think, like, for me, I still am looking for that, like, oh, what's exciting? Oh, this is intriguing. This is something new. And so I hope we get more of that back. Like, I really do. So let's welcome Issa to the stage. Oh, nope, she's not. She's a listener. Just kidding.
Yeah, she's gonna need a moment. She got a call.
Oh, okay. Let's see what the people are saying in the comments. Okay, no comments on abstract. The Pudgy Penguin with a heart. Thank you, Dizzle. Okay, Eric F. I'm happy that X2Y2 is now sunsetting. And also Kevin Rose might buy X2Y2. Yeah. Is that an April Fool's, Eric? So the only time I use the X2Y2 platform, for those of us that have been around the block a little bit, was during 10KTF when we were trading popcorn, and you needed to have a certain amount of popcorn in order to put it to your G tag, which helped create your PFP. Other than that time, I didn't use X2Y2. But that was one of the places you could buy the popcorn. Mind you, I did make a few $100s on that. Looking back, probably should have sold a little more popcorn at the time. Excuse me, digital popcorn. However, I am more open to learning and trying things. Hence today, I was doing a bunch of that at work yesterday and today, creating this whole like digital book, but that's a separate story. Anyway, yeah, X2Y2. The classroom of life requires us to stay ground game strong. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. So much support here tonight. Keegan should be called Triple G got ground game. Oh, look at this. You guys are too nice. All right, let's give out the POAP before I forget and people start getting tired. All right, we ready for the secret word? Creatrice, are you ready? Oh, look at this. Nope.
I'm here and I'm ready.
Okay. So for those of you that collect POAPs, VDiz will give me a thumbs up. Ulitra. All right, let's give out the POAP. You're going to get your first POAP from 10KTF Teaching Tuesdays. First gold star of April. Maybe I'm going to do giveaways. I don't know. All right, so the secret word. Raylene, I hope you got it. Hope you figured it out. So for those of you that collect POAPs, VDiz will give me a thumbs up. April showers. One word, lowercase. They are limited edition. I'm not going to lie. There isn't a ton. I'm actually lowering the number each week as I refine my process. But yes, they are on Ape Chain, in case you were wondering. For anybody that's listening as well. Yes, the pull-ups are on Ape Chain. I support all the chains. I don't discriminate. Although I don't have a sponsor for many of them, so I can say what I want. So I'm not going to be biased.
They are limited edition. I'm not gonna lie. They're
April showers, all lowercase.
I got it. I got it.
APRIL
so I can say what I want.
SHOWERS, lowercase.
April showers. All lowercase.
What do you think? Are you impressed that I'm doing pull-ups now, Creatress?
I am actually very impressed, and I'm quite jealous because I wanted to do a pull-up for my performance, and I didn't get around to doing that. So I'm having major FOMO. I actually have done pull-ups. I've done a lot of pull-ups for my performances. You probably own some.
I do. You and V Dizzle did a lot of pull-ups over the years. I'm just new to the game. But I'm trying to be more vocal and advocating. Because after we sat with Christy, who's part of the POAP team, also an OGP Friends community member, she broke it down for us. And she showed us about some of the new stuff, how it works, the user interface. It's much more user-friendly, a lot faster. Like I remember, if by faster, I mean to actually submit and get it approved. Because I remember it was a little bit of a process to get one and get it done, to get it approved, to use them for an event and whatnot. But now, now that it's a little bit more streamlined, I'm all about streamlined. And the fact that you can actually use it on ApeChain too, look at that. Collaboration, community. Who knows? Maybe Abstract will be on there.
What do you mean? I'm sorry, but what do you mean you can use it on ApeChain?
So one of the cool things now is that it's like self-serve, kind of like you submit, you upload the image, you put the title, you choose how you want to get it delegated. Is it a secret word? Is it the you can put it in the dispenser? Like last week, for example, I had some people that forgot to get it after I posted the picture the next day. Like, oh, how can I get this? But now you can send them a direct link where they just click it and it mints it. And so during that process, when you're picking which ones, there's a drop down and you can choose what chain you want the POAP on. So essentially it's an ApeChain NFT. Does that help?
There's a drop down.
That definitely helps. That's awesome. Yeah, they didn't have the option to switch chains when I first started using them, so that's definitely a new feature. Very cool.
I mean, yeah, you know how the ApeChain community is. They'll advocate and support. I think that people just don't know about this that much yet. So, trying to do my part, trying to share, trying to help.
Very cool.
I mean,
I like it. I like it. I got my POAP, and Issa, my sister, who's sitting next to me, we're actually having our safety meeting.
Ooh.
She just got her POAP as well.
All right. Round of applause.
Gold star. Gold star.
Well, congrats to everybody that did get the gold star.
Our safety meeting.
Appreciate the support.
She just got
And
as well.
yeah, so we're moving along
Gold
here.
star. Gold
That
star.
may be all of the Web3 happenings that I have.
well, congrats to everybody that did get the gold star.
Are we ready for Metaverse talk?
I think we are, and I know this is your forte.
Yeah,
So
we're moving along here.
actually, wanted to share one more thing.
Web3 happenings that I have.
Well, two more things.
Are we ready for
The
Metaverse?
Gutter Cat Gang token gang got delayed.
This is your forte.
I think some of us saw that. Just a little need to know, because if you have Oni Force, you were going to be able to claim. I know Renga is having a spring-summer collection for some clothes.
The Gutter Cat Gang.
I think you can put your IP on them.
I think some of us saw that.
What other project did that before?
No.
Hmm,
If you have
another
Oni
one.
Force, you were going to be able to claim.
No, it's not what I was going to share.
I know Renga
What is
is
this?
having a spring-summer collection.
Okay,
for
putting
some
this up.
clothes.
So from Forgotten
You
Runes,
put your IP on them.
Bear Snake,
Project did that before.
one of the founders, says, I'm running a Runiverse game tomorrow with OpenSea and some friends. Straight magic. OpenSea has been very slowly but surely, again, making some moves in the right direction, in my opinion. One Runeverse Infinite Stories. We're streaming Forgotten Runes Runeverse game with Bear Snake. I don't know the other people. Hanto, Jihos from Axie. Tomorrow at 7 p.m. Pacific. Tune in on X and Twitch. So round of applause for them. And that can be the segue into our metaverse discussion. And full disclosure, I'm not a holder of Forgotten Runes. I would like to be. I think they're doing an amazing job. Very underrated with the amount of quality that they've been bringing on multiple avenues for as long as they have. But yeah, check that out. And I need to spend time playing the game. I don't know if anybody in the audience has checked it out, but I've been seeing a lot of stuff online. It looks really fun. I was just browsing the NFT collection yesterday, and it's cool. You like when you can switch to the 3D version that has the model. You can just like spin the asset, like basically your character becomes pixelated, and then boom, it's a 3D character. It's freaking awesome, in my opinion. And that's what you get for having that NFT, and you get to use that in all these metaverses. So this brings us to our topic of metaverse talk here. And feel free if anybody wants to come up, give your 2 cents, or in the bottom right hand corner. If you just want to listen, like this is a class, and you want the lecture style, that's fine. Maybe you're on the work clock like Eric. I don't know. So yeah. So metaverse talk. So Creatress, you're one who's been very familiar with metaverses, right? How long have you been spending time in metaverses at this point?
Ooh, that's a cool question. Well, I guess it depends on how you define a metaverse. I guess, it's kind of like what we have and what we want it to be are 2 different things, I think.
So glad you brought up that question.
Well, I guess
because I have the definition.
Yeah. I mean, just because you're asking me how long I've been hanging out, and I'm like, well, it depends on like what you consider a metaverse. If you consider it like a game, for example, like a game could be a type of metaverse because there's other players in there, and you're interacting in this like virtual environment, right? So if you think of Mario, from Nintendo. Mario could be a type of metaverse, and we're in the Mario metaverse, and I'm playing Princess Peach as my avatar, and you're playing Mario, and whatever, Valerie's playing, Luigi. I don't know, whoever, everybody picks their avatar, just like in these new kind of metaverses we're in. So if you count Game Boy or Nintendo or those things, I guess you could say I've been in a version of a metaverse since probably since I was like 8 or 7 or something like that. So well over 25 years.
Wow.
Sounds crazy to say. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Respect.
So you got some
I feel old
repetitions.
now.
So you can speak on this.
Oh yeah.
So,
For sure.
so you brought up an important point, which I think is super important. Like, we need to have a definition of certain things so people know where our starting point or the cornerstone is, right? And then I actually have an interesting example I'd like to share with people too that I just thought of. I didn't already have this written down. But anyway, let me give you the definition according to Wikipedia, which is now our go-to encyclopedia. Encyclopedias nobody even has anymore in real life. If you don't even know what that is, Google it. All right. The metaverse is a loosely defined term referring to virtual worlds in which users represented by avatars interact, usually in 3D and focused on social and economic connection. Avatars socializing in the virtual world, for example, Second Life. Now, mind you, that's probably a little bit of an older one, but let me continue to read some other things here. Avatars socializing in the virtual world. While not all video games are metaverses, many are incorporating metaverse-like features. blurring the lines between the two with examples like Fortnite. Oh, surprise there. Roblox and Minecraft. Weird. We just talked about Minecraft earlier too, and how Somnia is building something similar to Minecraft because there's actually going to be blockchain implementation, showcasing virtual worlds with social interaction and creation elements. And so here's another important piece I think that's important to know. It says, for key differences, while video games can incorporate metaverse-like features, they are not necessarily the same thing. Traditional video games often have a defined storyline or gameplay mechanics. Hence, Mario Brothers, Legend of Zelda. But it says, whereas metaverse experiences are typically more open-ended and player-driven, metaverses are envisioned as a broader concept encompassing various technologies and platforms, not just video games. The metaverse can lead to new phases of gaming that is more immersive, interactive, and realistic. The lines between video games and metaverses are likely to continue blurring as technology advances. Oh, you mean like USDC that's going to be here and it's going to be around us in all these big like platforms soon? Yeah, like that. We may see more video games evolve into more immersive and social experiences closer to the vision of the metaverse. So, that's my 2 cents, and that's the definition. I mean, I think that that's where a lot of this is going to head. USDC, AI, this metaverse. Like, and I guess we can think like, well, we had Sandbox back in 2021 for those of us that were here at the time in Web3, but something tells me this feels different. Other Side is right around the corner from coming out. Improbable and Somnia are about to become, in my opinion, a force to be reckoned with. The Forgotten Runes open metaverse game, which is a back end of Web3 NFTs connected to it on the Ronin network, which now has, mind you, the assets that can be traded on OpenSea, all those in-game things, separate from the Forgotten Runes NFT. Like, it's becoming much more substance, creative, many more layers into this. There's layers to this. Shout out to Creatrix and Vidizzle. But that's one of the main things. And Somnia's big talking point, and I use them as reference because I think they're spearheading very bigly, very big in my opinion. And they've referenced many things where the blockchains need to be faster. Their blockchains can do 1 million transactions per second. Like, it's crazy. It's ridiculous. And so for something to feel more real and more immersive, that's the type of speed and reaction of things that happen that we're going to need. And so the reason I bring up these couple things, like with Forgotten Runes, although that may not be a full 3D experience, at least not yet, you're still collaborating with your friends, coming together, going on adventures, interacting on these spaces. You're talking, you're communicating. And that's what makes it worthwhile. Vidizzle and I play Fortnite till ungodly amounts of hours in the morning. Why? Because it's fun, it's exciting. You don't know what the outcomes are going to be. And it's driven by us. It's open-ended and player-driven versus it's already structured in a certain way and it's going to turn out in a certain way in the end. We don't know how it's going to turn out. And so that's why I think that these metaverses now that we're starting to see, like with Improbable, like the Other Side experiences we've had, and all the stuff that they're continuing to build on the Yuga side, the Yuga side of the house, are going to be at a pretty amazing thing. I'm just very intrigued. This is what's bringing my intrigue right now as of late, the past few weeks. So would love to hear from somebody else that's up here. Kaylee, I saw you sneak up here as well. How are you doing, friend?
I'm good, thanks. How are you guys? I came up for the metaverse talk.
Please. What are you thinking? How are you feeling about everything?
Oh, I'm a metaverse OG. I've been around since 2006.
Okay.
I'm good, thanks. How
Wow.
are you guys?
Got more people with a lot of experience here that can speak on this stuff. So, how are you feeling about it? Like, where are we at with some of the things I shared, some of the things you're seeing now versus from back then? Your thoughts?
Well, back in 2006, I came across a platform that was founded by Linden Labs creator Philip Rosedale, who created Second Life. And Second Life was, at that time, promoted as it was built in the 90s, and it was created in like 2001 to 2004. And from 2004 on, it was public. It's been thriving ever since. And it's still a very active, very stable economy. There's a conversion rate for the currencies. So you have people who have businesses in that metaverse that run their businesses full time, both in world and in the real world. And I've just enjoyed the creativity of the platform, being able to build and create and make and using 3D applications that you would use to create other 3D assets, and you can import them into the metaverse and sell them in a store or what have you. And so I've personally been around the metaverse for an age since 2006, December 2006. And I still see a lot of growing pains, but I also see a lot of new, fresh activity in what people can experience, especially since the pandemic.
Wow. Yeah, I appreciate that 2 cents. And maybe you can fill me in here. And I just went to their website and I'm looking at it right now on the live stream. And I'll be honest with you, I haven't gone to this website for probably 11 years, 10 years. I remember reading about Second Life when I was younger, when it first came out. And I'm like exploring it now. It's kind of interesting. And I'm curious, like, so how do you take the currency on and off of the platform? And in your opinion, you think once this like guidance from our government comes into play, we've been talking about stable coins for half this spaces tonight. I feel like they're positioned really well, to be honest with you. Like, I feel like they're going to dominate.
Yeah,
as I'm thinking about it, right?
So they've managed to consistently run for years and years and years an exchange rate built into their platform. So you don't have to go to a third party. There's a third party company called Tilia that is basically integrated into the Second Life platform. So purchasing currency and exchanging currency out to your, whatever native currency, for us it's USD, is really easy. And so I've never personally had any issues or trouble, and they managed to keep the conversion rate stable over these 20 plus years that Second Life has been in existence. So whatever the conversion rate was back in 2008 is what it is today, and they keep it really stable with USD. So I find that to be an interesting comparison to like cryptocurrency conversion and how volatile and how much it fluctuates in the markets and with the market compared to Linden's, which is the Linden Labs Second Life in-world currency.
Oh, Linden.
And how that has always been a very stable currency.
What's it called again?
Linden's, Linden.
Okay, because I see that. Like, I'm on their marketplace. Like, it's very, I guess, straightforward. Like, they have categories on the left side, and then there's like a little L. It has the L, the money sign. It says 1200.
Yeah.
Like all these things, some like banner ads, kind of like old school advertisement.
Yeah, it's stayed very old school in its functionality and how the marketplace appears and advertises and promotes new products and stuff like that. But you have creators all over the world that at this point, just about anything you can think of is something you can find and buy in Second Life, which is really interesting for people who want to experience a virtual world, that they define how that looks to them.
Mm-hmm.
You can rent land the same way like you can rent an apartment in the real life. See you later. And it's just really interesting how they've managed to build the economics within the virtual structure of the system and the platform,
Yeah.
and how creators can not only utilize that to sell their virtual assets, but how they can depend on the currency not going up and down and, you know, fucking with their bag, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, it's like, and that's why I'm thinking, like, well, they had the market share of metaverse early, let's say, but in its infancy, I guess I don't know if that's the way to put it, but I mean, it's kind of interesting to see how it's going to play out even more.
Yeah, they're still upgrading systems and improving just the visuals, and creators are always finding new ways to make things look way more realistic. I have yet to find any other metaverse platform that has as much diversity and quality to the experience in the platform as Second Life has. And its only credit is because the currency conversion is always and has always been so stable.
Yeah, that's an important piece of the puzzle for sure. Eric, let's ask Eric. Eric, are you there? I saw your hand up in the front row.
Yeah, I forgot I was gonna comment, but yeah, yeah, the metaverse meta is good right now. I think Sandbox is coming up with their season 5 rewards, or I'm not sure what season it is, but I saw on the news like yesterday about it. That's exciting. Again, you know, like Sebastian Sergio is like still trying to keep up. And I think these couple of days in the Web 2 world, there's a game called Inzoi. It's basically like Sims, but like 100% better. So it's on Steam, early access. You pay I think $30 or $40 US on Steam, and it's like it's supposed to what the metaverse is supposed to be. Like the details on making your face interaction. It's very good. I downloaded it, haven't played it yet, but if you just YouTube it, INZO, I think it will be the next thing for like at least a month or two, and then when GTA 5 hits, then the whole world's gonna pivot to GTA 5, right? Like Grand Theft Auto is
For sure.
I think it's the biggest metaverse out there, to be honest. Yeah.
Okay. So, is that where all the VC money's flowing? What's the word on the street with all the VCs?
I think a lot of VCs are looking back onto GameFi. So I'm not sure if it's just like, you know, currently because Binance has listed, I think, off the grid guns or something. But we're actually are looking at like other, like, I guess say OG chains.
Yeah.
Like maybe Ronin Network. I actually been looking into that for the last like 3 weeks. And they have built something like amazing, but you know, at the same time, it seems there's people there, but not as much as we hoped. Like, you know, people get bored and they kind of like leave. And you know how back then was a play to earn thing. Now it's like, yeah, it just feels different. I think like right now the narrative, like you're saying, like people are like fighting maybe like Abstract Chain or fighting Ape Chain, whatever it is. Like, there's always haters out there.
Right.
So, you know, if you're full time Web3 now, or you know, AI or blockchain or tech, like you ride with the trends. And like right now, I think, you know, even the sentiment is kind of down for crypto Twitter, but you said like the MasterCard is coming out with their big thing. I didn't know that. So every time I listen to you, I learn a different perspective from my side. So it is great to see and great to hear, and maybe you'll catch up, or maybe sometimes crypto Twitter is like, months or weeks ahead of the normal world, like I guess the actual world where people actually live in. So yeah, that could be just a sense. And how and here Degens is, everything is affected by the price. So that's like, if the prices are good, then everyone's happy, and then VC have money again, and smart money comes back. And if not, then we're gonna keep building and churning out stuff and hope people come. I mean, that's the whole thing right now.
Right. All right. Well, I always appreciate your insight, and I know you're on the opposite side of the globe of us, so I think it's always good to like exchange these ideas when we can. And I mean, you're right. Like a lot of us that spend time on X, Twitter, we have a pulse of what's happening in real time. Like I feel like these topics are not put on Apple News and like Yahoo News and Google News, like whatever the freak that Microsoft built-in news little thing on the laptops and computers, like where they flash the news on their widgets. I feel like they're not putting that news out there. Maybe more kind of like the Bitcoin stuff sometimes, but I feel like that's not the reg. So I don't know. And
I think there is some drama with the exchanges too. I think a lot of VCs and investors are talking over here, like how I think there was OKX and Binance trying to list something with I can't remember exact details, but they try to screw over Hyperliquid.
Oh yeah.
So they are fighting.
I did see that
for market share there
last week.
Yeah. So there's
they tried to tank the token or something like that.
There's many things going on. Yep. It's actually because Hyperliquid is decentralized. They just try to use the protocol. But anyway, they are, even the big players they're getting squeezed. So not just the smaller guys that building out, the big guys too. Like obviously there's X2, Y2 that's sunsetted. They had their token drop at the beginning. They were quite hot at the beginning, and I just took the airdrop and I sold it and left. To be honest, and I checked it maybe one time to time, but I think Gem or OpenSea Pro was a bit better. Just looking at the rarities of NFTs. And now, like, if they're sunsetting, that means it's better market share for other places. So if you are farming for that OpenSea airdrop, the C token, when it does come out, maybe that'll be better for them.
I mean, these are all good things to think about, right? I mean, and people like, or platforms and like, let's say, sectors, like the old school big dogs, the big players, like, I don't think they're gonna go fully quietly. Like, if you're stepping on people's toes, like, they're not just gonna let that fly. Like you mentioned the Hyperliquid thing, which I didn't participate in that ecosystem. I heard about it, I saw it, I read about it, I followed it, but I could totally see, like, people getting upset. Like, hey, moving in our territory. Like, all right, well, if this is decentralized, fine. Who's going to stop us from doing this? And what? Like, I don't know. And the same thing can be said about whales that have like tons of money, right? They just set up a wall, and that's it. And they control the floor price of certain things.
Yeah, and I think there's another big thing. I think there was news that I think tomorrow or the next day, Coinbase will list BNB, so we'll list the Binance coin, but they're listing on perps, so futures. So usually what happens, futures is easier for them. You don't have to hold anything, and most likely it'll get shorted. So just it is probably going to be news tomorrow. So we'll list the Binance coin, but there's some going on there. Yeah, just keep eye.
So, not financial advice. Eric is not giving us insider information. We're just following and sharing information.
Yeah, I think all the information is public. It's just you just have to find the right places to know it and search it. So yeah, I think just people don't notice it. They're stuck in their own echo chamber, and maybe they're really into I don't know, apes or OnlyForce NFTs, and don't really explore. For me, I try to look at everything, but it's not possible. So even these spaces are wonderful to catch one different perspective. Your point of view is different than others, and your opinion matters. I think that's really really important. And known in this space for like just educating, and it's just for just knowledge is so good to pass on. And once we take that perspective,
Yeah,
your point of view is
we're kind of losing you a little bit, but
your opinion matters.
I was catching what you're saying,
Really, really
and I do
important.
appreciate those kind of
In
words.
this space, for like just education.
And yeah, I think the more knowledge we have, knowledge is power. Like
For just,
that old saying, like
so good
I
to
think it's
pass
true though.
on. And once we take that perspective,
And
your point of view is
We're kind
you
of
know,
losing you a little bit, but
I do think all these pieces of information are just going to continue to build upon each other.
yeah, I think the more.
And I'm just glad we're here for it. Like
that old saying, like.
And I'm glad you guys are here. I appreciate you guys giving time. It's in
And
KTF Teaching Tuesdays. I mean, you don't have to be here. You could be doing whatever you want, right? But you're here hanging out.
pieces of information
And
are just going to continue. to
again,
build
anybody
upon
that
each
wants
other.
to share your 2 cents, please
And I'm
feel
just
free in the
glad
bottom
we're
right hand
here.
corner. Or if you want to come
You
up,
guys are here.
Adabadi, I know you have some metaverse experience. You just had some stuff happening. If you want to share about that, Creatress, I saw you had to drop. I don't know if you can come back up, but I know you have a lot of thoughts.
Wants to share your 2 cents?
And so
In the bottom right hand corner.
the thing I was going to share earlier about metaverse,
Adabadi, I know you
and
have
I don't know,
some
like
metaverse
if this would
experience.
count.
You just had some stuff happening. If you want to share about
Maybe it
that.
does. Maybe it would.
Creatress,
So, and I never got to experience it firsthand, but I saw plenty of pictures, and this goes back years. But do you guys remember,
The
like,
thing I was going to share earlier about
at
metaverse,
Disneyland, there was that, like,
if this would count.
Buzz Lightyear ride where, like, you're riding in the cart and you have, like, a blaster gun and you shoot at, like, the characters and then you get, like, a score at the end of the ride.
Do you guys remember, like,
I mean, that's mixing
Disneyland
virtual within real life. Like, that's a form of a metaverse, right?
Where like you're riding in the.
Well, I mean, you don't have an avatar, so maybe not. But
a blaster gun. And you shoot
More
at,
like
the characters.
more like an augmented reality where you're kind of experiencing virtually, but
yeah,
in real life.
yeah.
A form of a metaverse, right?
Well,
Well, I mean, you don't have an avatar, so maybe.
I mean, I definitely enjoy like the Fortnite,
More like
even though there's
more like an
no
augmented reality.
crypto involved or
You're
anything
kind
like that. It's just
experiencing
about the experience, I
virtually,
think,
Yeah.
but in
right?
real life.
Like you choose whatever character that you want to represent you,
Well.
and then you get to play with your
I
friends,
definitely enjoy like the.
and it's
Fortnite,
fun.
Even though there's no. crypto involved.
But if I had like
It's just.
a digital shop and I could sell stuff, like if I had a business,
Like you choose whatever.
or if I was
character that you
an
want
artist
to
like
represent
Creatress or somebody,
you, and then
like,
you get to play with
I
your
definitely would be keeping a pulse on all of it because I think it's just going to be something that's like going to be a norm more and more. I mean, especially with the group of adolescents and younger, what are they called? Alpha, Gen Alpha. I know there's Gen Z, obviously, but they're growing up directly with the tech day in and day out.
a norm more and more. I mean, especially with the group.
Well, we're also moving into a really interesting dynamic shift where a lot of Gen Alpha, which is, that generation is now old enough to start dating each other. This is crazy. But Gen Z and Gen Alpha have been shifting into this dynamic where they're moving away from tech and online social interaction to real life experiences and prioritizing real life in-person experiences with each other. But I expect there to be another shift, especially in our current geoeconomic situations, where a lot of people who are experiencing financial limitations are going to pivot to more virtual experiences, which could potentially breathe new life into people pivoting into metaverse experiences. And so I suspect as things shift economically, we're going to see people shift
Yep.
socially, and that should ripple into more metaverse events and online digital virtual experiences that people can more
Right.
cost effectively enjoy certain things that they couldn't otherwise enjoy because of their, like I said, financial limitations.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, like, I was thinking about that just recently. Like, sometimes people don't want to go out because they're already settled, or maybe they don't feel like paying for gas or dealing with parking, or they have too much going on, but they do want to legitimately hang out, but they just can't make the getting ready, going through the process, getting there in time. Like, but once it becomes more frictionless or less friction, it's like, hey, jump in here real quick, boom, okay. Like, it's gonna become a thing, right? Like, I think it is, in my opinion. Like, that's what you think. Creatress, what are you feeling here?
Well, my mind may have drifted afloat
Okay.
a little bit, but I did want. There were so many things that were touched on like throughout this thing, so I'm kind of like, would love to talk about. I mean, the Fortnite thing. I've been in that metaverse. I can see how it can be customized in different ways, which I think is really interesting and like wide open for pretty much everybody and anybody to use now that they have such a big fan base. I hope they incorporate crypto soon. I think that would make sense. That's something I've talked to my son about.
What are you noticing with him? Like, what is he
What's the other
feeling
thing?
about? Like, how do you feel about him growing up with this tech as his norm as he gets older versus the tech that we had when we were his age?
That would make sense. That's something I've talked to my son about. What are you noticing with him? Yeah, I mean, it's pretty crazy different, and like light years ahead of what we had. So I think it's pretty cool. You know, he's gotten a chance to interact in like Minecraft with people in Fortnite, and obviously now also in VR games, right? Where you're literally in a 3D space as an avatar wearing the headset and you can like talk to people, hear other people talking. So he's kind of gotten like a really good, I feel like, understanding of like different types of metaverses now. And as far as like my experience as an artist and what I've liked the most, like I remember crypto voxels was a thing. And that's one thing that I also wanted to mention was the permissionless and the decentralization allowed people, for example, in crypto voxels, I remember running into a gallery that was like for like adult art, like adult themes, 18
Borderline
plus,
inappropriate.
And it's borderline inappropriate, but you know, it's decentralized. It was on their plot of land. You know what I'm saying? So I just remember running into that and I was like, yeah, that's definitely one use case. So that was Crypto Voxels, like a pretty like early metaverse that incorporated crypto and NFTs into its, you know, ecosystem. And I've gotten a chance to play with Spatial. I have a couple galleries there, one that I curated, one that's just my 3D sculptures. So I've made good use of that. And Decentraland has also been a metaverse that I've been interacting with more lately as well, last like 3 years or so. And I got a chance to do a couple performances there. So blending like the metaverse aspect This one's a desktop metaverse, primarily Decentraland. But then also bringing like an IRL performance, like a recording of an IRL performance to this metaverse. So you're kind of blending both in real life and metaverse all in one kind of experience. And that was it's pretty fun for me, and the feedback was really good. So yeah, that's kind of been my experience with some of them.
Yeah, I think stuff like that.
All in one kind of experience.
The way I look at it is having more context.
It's pretty fun for me.
But it's layers. However you want to, whatever word you want to use.
That's kind of been my.
The more elements and things that you have that help build the connections and strengthen it, like the more the user individual is going to feel it, right? It's the same for teaching. Like when I was teaching English in the classroom, it's like, well, what's the style of teaching that you're going to use? Is it going to be visual? Is it going to be audio? What's the lesson that they're doing? Is it hands-on project, or is it just a verbal thing? Is it sharing something? Is it responding to a picture? Is it getting opinions? Or is it doing critical thinking where they're going to get a bunch of answers from everybody? Like, the more context you have for the experience, that much more unique and fun and like just awesome that it's going to be. And the more awesome it's going to be, the more likely people are going to want to come there and spend their time. Like when we went to this 10KTF event in New York a couple years ago, they had details. They had like a big screen with the storyline. They had the New Tokyo designs, like a set. They had the drinks named after characters from the storyline. So it's like you're within, like in different avenues. You talked about physical and digital experience simultaneously. Like right now, I just started recently doing, like a month and a half ago, I'm doing spaces and I'm doing the video simulcasting. Like it's trending more and more and more. And I think it's just going to be the expectation from some people at some point, where this is what they're going to want. And when they're like, okay, well, this is what I'm expecting now. If you're not doing this, well, I'm maybe not give you as much time. I don't know. Am I wrong here? I don't know. We'll see. This is just my 2 cents, right? And yeah, and thanks to those of you sneaking in here. Itachi, I see you. Thanks for coming through. And if you guys didn't get the Poe app yet, April showers, all lowercase. If you want the Poe app, if you're into that sort of thing. Or if you want to go on Abstract and give me a like to help me move up on the algorithm, I'll take that too. Itachi, I see you. So we're just talking metaverse here now for the theme. I mean, it's something I've been thinking about, not necessarily from doing performances like Creatrice. That's Creatrice. This is Avenue. But more so like I'm thinking of it as like, well, is this going to be the avenue that people will spend time? And Kaylee brought up a good point. Like, well, there's certain generations now that are kind of like moving away from it, which is a fair point. I mean, sometimes people need to have that in real life connection. Sometimes you need to go to a soccer game on a weekend. Like we did down here. We saw San Diego FC. Really freaking good team now, in my opinion. Side subject. But point being, yeah, metaverse, I think is going to continue to grow and grow. I think Eric brought up a great point about when Grand Theft Auto comes out. I mean, there's not going to be any stopping it. I feel like once it gets to a certain point. And it's even like with AI. Like, I remember, Creatrice, when you were giving that lesson at Valerie's event at the library the one time, you were going over the AI platform. I think it was Leonardo. Is that the name of it? There's not going to be any. Very early. That was like one of the first experiences for me personally. Mind you, this was maybe 2-3 years ago now. I don't remember exactly. We have video footage there. But you were giving us the lessons on how the platform works. Like you type in a prompt and then poof, this image comes out of nowhere. And you even gave like great little pieces of
video footage.
guardrails that say like, hey,
But
if you don't have, I think there was like a toggle feature or something for like, well, if you don't put this on, then adult versions of different art will come out, because the AI is just listening to the prompt that you give it, or excuse me, it's taking the prompt that you type and spitting out the image that it believes based on what you typed. And so for me, that was early exposure before OpenAI became what it was, ChatGPT. Like, that was cool to see that early on in. And spitting out the image that it believes based on what you typed.
Thanks, Keegan. Yeah, it was really cool to do it. And funny enough, I'm working on some AI art right now. So alpha. And one last thing, actually, I want to mention, because I do have to hop out. But it's almost my bedtime. 8:50. Come on. I just want I want to give a shout out to the homie Adabody who's in the audience. Because he did a performance in the metaverse this week, and I'm not sure what metaverse it was in, but he does live music. So yeah, I just, and you know, that's a whole topic in itself. It's like, you know, the concerts in the metaverse. There's been concert experiences on the Oculus that I went to. Particularly, I saw the Steve Aoki experience one time in VR, and that was pretty cool. Having seen him in person, it actually was pretty fun, honestly. And then there's been multiple performances in Fortnite that I know specifically because my son was like, oh, at this time and this, you know, there's gonna be a, you know, and I can't even remember the name right now. It's like something Kid Leroy, I think it was. Or maybe, yeah, I think that's the one that he watched. And so, you know, blending these live music concerts, or whether they're live or not, you know, still like music, with these metaverse experiences, I think is like a thing that's evolving more and more. And so, yeah, I just hope to see a lot more of that because I want to be part of it.
Sure.
I can't even remember the name right now. It's like
Yeah, and I appreciate all the info you have and you sharing. And yeah, shout out to Adabody. If you guys haven't heard, he plays amazing music as well. I know it's past your bedtime. You got to go.
I think is like a thing that's evolving more and more.
But I think it's going to be cool when we start to see more of those things implemented. Like, if Fortnite had a crypto built in, I don't know how people would get off that game. Like, and that's why I think about, like, I'm actually excited about the game that's going to come out on Ape Chain. I forget what it's called. It's like Bathroom Battle or something like that. And Garga just talked about it last week. But it's like, oh, Shigan's popping in the stream. I like that. Good looking out. Thanks.
Like, I'm actually excited about the game.
But Garga was sharing, like, that's going to come out, which is like a shooter, like Fortnite, but has crypto built into it. That's pretty badass. Like, I'm here for that, mind you. And he said, like, yeah, it's not going to be like, you know, 1,000, 1,500 players or anything like other side. But when you have like 30 on 30 or 20 on 20,
like Fortnite,
excuse me, and maybe there's crypto stuff built into it where the winning team takes like a pot of crypto. Just an example. I don't know that. Like, all of a sudden that game's a little bit more serious.
I'm here for that.
Put your money where your mouth is. Like, I probably would participate in metaverse experiences like that. I'm not gonna lie. It may not be the most best practice of using my funds. All right. All right. All right. Well, we're going for a little bit here now. So, unless anybody else has anything else they want to share on the metaverse, we'll be taking it to the round table and kind of wrapping it up here. So, go ahead and pull up some stuff.
All right.
Oh yeah, this is
Well,
a good one. I
we're going
forgot.
for a little bit here now. So,
All right, so
anybody else has anything else they want to share?
I'm gonna do a little roundtable here now.
We'll be taking it
10KTF roundtable or just roundtable in general.
Wrapping it up here.
But last week
So,
on the Grail chat, pinned it up above. Anybody wants to listen back to it?
this is
Wait, that's the wrong one. Sorry, my bad.
So-
Let me put it up here. Sheesh. What am I doing
I'm
here?
gonna do a little roundtable here now.
Okay, from March 27th, last Thursday.
Just roundtable in
So
general.
it was Figgy and the Meebits team, and that was pretty cool. Hearing their perspective on where things are at. I don't remember all the details off the top of my head. I do remember being impressed by,
Okay, from March 27th.
I think it was
Thursday.
Sergito,
So,
or let me
and the
pull up
Meebits
his
team,
handle here.
and that was pretty cool.
Managed by the Meebits company.
Hearing their perspective.
Who's
on where things are
affiliated?
at.
Where are they at?
I don't remember all the details off the top of my head.
Mm,
I do remember being impressed by. I think it was.
Yeah, I don't know where it's at, but yeah, that was a good episode though. They know their stuff. The Meebits team definitely thought it was a good conversation with Figgy, John Carl. They're both the hosts of that show bi-weekly, and yeah, they were talking to the Meebits team, and they had some interesting perspectives. I can't remember exactly what they were, but I remember being like, oh, they know what they're talking about. So, also too, if you check out the 10KTF Instagram handle, but it's not actually
Bi-weekly.
10KTF handle.
Talking to the Meebits team.
It's old.
And, they had some interesting
Let me see if I can
perspectives.
find it here.
I can't remember exactly what they were, but I remember being like, oh, you know what they're
See if they added it on.
Also, too, if you check out the.
I think it's old. So what's his name? Old shopkeeper, old shopman, something like that on Instagram. Anyway, they're posting up regular stories on there, so I would check that out. Posting up regular stuff. Not anything different from context-wise right now with the 10KTF storyline. However, they are making some traction for doing outreach on different avenues.
On Instagram.
What's going to come next?
Anyway,
I do not have any insider's information. I wish I did,
I will check that out.
but hopefully I'll have that soon.
Not anything
So,
different from context-wise
anyway.
right now with the storyline.
All right, guys.
However, they are making.
Well, appreciate everybody stopping in.
doing
Appreciate you guys giving the support. Shiggins, thanks for stopping in the live stream.
Have any insider's information?
6CF0,
Which I
hello to you too
did, but hopefully-
on the abstract stream.
So,
And yeah,
anyway,
we'll be back next week.
all right, guys.
Maybe I'll get a guest for next week.
Well, appreciate everybody stopping in.
And try and keep the
Appreciate you
POAPs
guys'
going.
support.
April showers was the key word,
Thanks for stopping in the live
secret
stream.
word, excuse me. If you didn't get it,
6CF0,
feel free to hit me up. I could send you a link to get it.
stream.
But aside from that,
And yeah,
I think that's our show. So
maybe I'll get a guest for next
let
week.
me switch gears right here.
And try and keep the POAPs going. April showers.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Excuse me.
All right.
If you didn't get it, feel free to hit me up.
Well, yeah, thanks for being here, guys.
Well,
Time.
Yeah, thanks for being here, guys.
And check out
Appreciate your
my,
time.
My website.
And check
Actually,
out
I probably
my
should have showed that, huh?
my website.
If you're
Actually, I probably
interested
should have
in
showed
any of the
that.
gear,
Huh? If you're
if you
interested
have
in
a
any of the
strong ground
gear,
game, that's my personal brand.
if you
which
have a
represents
strong
showing
ground
up,
game,
being
that's my
present,
personal
making
brand,
an
which
impact.
represents showing up, being
I
present,
think that a
making
lot
an
of us can
impact.
relate to that in some way, shape,
I
or
think that a
form.
lot of us can relate to that in some way,
Check it
shape, or
out.
form.
I got shirts, I got hats,
Check it out.
pullovers,
I got shirts, I
coffee
got
mugs.
hats,
Or if you're fan
pullovers,
just Teaching Tuesday,
coffee mugs. Or if you're
Teaching
fan just
Tuesday,
Teaching Tuesday,
I got
10KTF
stuff
Teaching
on that as
Tuesdays.
well.
I got
And if you
plenty of
don't like
stuff
it, you
on
can
that
always
as
send it
well.
back, and they're really good.
And if you
This
don't like it, you
platform,
can always
Spread
send it
Shop,
back,
my
and
Spread
they're
Shop
really
is
good.
really
This
good about
platform, Spread Shop,
things
my
like
Spread Shop is really good
customer
about
service,
anything
good,
like
streamlined.
customer service, super good, super
But
streamlined.
yeah, show up, be present, make an
But
impact.
yeah,
That's what ground game
show
is
up, be
about.
present, make an impact, and that's what
Oh
Ground
yeah,
Game
this
Strong
hat
is.
too, this
And
shirt.
oh yeah, this
So
hat too, this shirt.
yeah,
So
appreciate everybody coming through.
yeah, Appreciate everybody coming through. Ulitra, thank you for being here. Shiggins, thank you for being here. Outabody, thank you for being here. Remus, thanks for being here. Itachi coming in. Shout out to you. I've been seeing you making traction on the abstract. You've been in the top 5 multiple times. Shout out to Teaching Tuesdays. Thank you to Teaching Tuesdays. V Dizzle coming through as well.
And everybody that's
Creatress, Kaylee, and everybody that stopped in.
Together we
appreciate the support, and together we can achieve more. And hope you guys have a great week, and have a strong ground game. See ya.
We'll be back later. Fortnite, maybe.
We'll be back streaming later. Fortnite, maybe.
One more time.